Today, I want to share with you an important lesson on leadership, so stay tuned. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And today, I want to give you what I feel is a critical lesson on leadership for those of you that will become leaders of serious entities. Because, recently we had a scenario where we pulled out of Afghanistan after being there for 20 long years, and President Biden said, you know what, we're getting the heck out of there, and made the move, and we had what appear to be disastrous results. So what are my thoughts on that? Why is that a lesson in leadership? Let's talk about that, okay? Now, first of all, as a leader, you have to remember what you're there for, what you're representing, what your job is. And President Biden, now I don't know whether it was a good decision or a bad decision. One of the other things you have to know as a leader is not every decision you're going to make is going to be a great decision. That's life. That's the way it happens. What do you do when you make a bad decision? Same thing you do as an individual. You find a new starting line, you start again. Okay? But let's go back to what we were talking about here, about the withdrawal of all the Americans from Afghanistan after 20 long years. Here's the way that I look at that decision. The way I look at it is the president gathered all of the pertinent information, which he has access to and I don't, and said, you know what? We've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. We're losing people over and over and over and over again, and we're not gaining anything from it. Why are we doing that? Well, one of the reasons the past presidents didn't do anything was because they knew that if they did, they would get the same result that Biden got when people came out. The Taliban would come in, there would be lives lost, there would be bad press, there would be, not good things happening. But when you are the leader, you first gather all the information, and then you say to yourself, in the long term, where are we going to be better off? If we make a decision right now to cut that off, there's going to be some suffering, and it may even be some significant suffering. But in the long haul, in the big picture, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, are we going to be better off than having made that decision than by continuing to put American lives in jeopardy in a war that's not going to be won with people that aren't Americans? All right? I mean, once again, what is his job? His job is the leader of the United States. So he needed to make a decision. And once again, I don't know if it's the right decision or not. My point is, I'm talking about the structure of making decisions. So the first thing you do is you sit down and you look at all of the pertinent information, and then you say to yourself, if we continue to do what we're doing, is the situation going to improve? Is it going to stay the same? Is it going to get worse? Well, clearly, we've been giving up lives a little bit at a time. And when you accumulate all the lives lost, it's a fairly significant number of lives. So the decision had to be made based upon this type of thinking that we need to get the heck out of there. All right. Now, if we do that, what are the results? What is the outcome going to be on an immediate basis, on a mid-range basis, and on a long-term basis? And I trust that President Biden knew that there was going to be these kinds of challenges, that lives were going to be lost, that it was not going to be happy for everybody, that people were going to say, well, gee, my son died over there. What did he die for? Or he could continue to say, you know what, we're needlessly giving up American lives when we don't have to. That's not our country. These people need to protect themselves. We've given them the tools to do that. They have not embraced that. Why are we continuing to maintain that posture as the protector when they're not? You follow what I'm saying? So once again, I don't know if it's the right decision or not, but the point is he made the decision. And when you make a decision, as he did, he stuck to it. Now there were, when I heard about this, I was up in Maine on vacation, so I'm not privy to all the little different things, but I heard about, oh my goodness, they're taking over this, they're doing that, there's this atrocity, that atrocity. I'm thinking to myself, he's going to go back in there and he's going to bring the troops in. But you know what? He didn't do it. He had his decision. People that are good decision makers, once they make a decision, they stick with the decision. They recognize the potential outcomes, good and bad, that are going to evolve after that decision is made, and that gets factored into the final decision. So sometimes you're in a position, as he was in this case, of choosing the lesser of the two evils. And to his mind, once again, I'm not privy to all the information. It may be the right decision, it may be the wrong decision, but he's privy to all that information, and he decided that the lesser of the two evils was to pull our people out. He knew that the feedback he was going to get was going to be incredibly negative, because people that are in the rank and file tend to have a knee-jerk reaction to just about everything. This is how I'm affected immediately. But they don't tend to look long-term. It is the responsibility of leaders to look out for their constituents, not only on an immediate basis, but on a long-term basis. And on this basis, President Biden made his decision, and he stuck with it. The point being, as a leader, you gather the information, you make the best decision. Sometimes it's the lesser of two evils, as it was in this case. Not always, but in this case it was the lesser of two evils, and you stick with it. And you do so knowing that you're going to get a whole lot of noise from everybody out there that's going to pick on you, especially in a political situation, because you're an easy target. This is what you did. This was the result. Okay? You can't see what's going to be 5 years down the road, or 3 years down the road, or 10 years down the road. History will determine whether this was a good decision or not. But the point I'm making is, as a leader, you must look out for your people. It's sort of like being the godfather. All right? Sometimes you make a decision and the people, the captains and whatever, they don't like it, but you've made a long-term decision, and because of their family, because they're loyal to you, they'll follow what you say. They may not like it, they may speak up about it, but you as the leader have to make that decision. Leadership is not always easy. As a matter of fact, most of the time it isn't. If it was easy, anybody can do it. It's making the tough decisions. And you have to use the risk versus reward mindset in making these decisions. So once again, I'm not talking about this particular decision. What I'm talking about is the process that was used to make the decision, understanding what was going to follow that decision, and having the courage to say, I recognize that there's suffering now, but in the long run, we will be better off for making that decision. So once again, focus on the process. Make a decision. People that are good leaders are decisive in their decision making, and they stick to it. People that are not good leaders are indecisive, they go back and forth, and they're quick to change their mind. This process was done correctly. Once again, was it the right decision? Who knows? I don't have all the information. But I do know that the process that the president used was the correct one. It took courage to do that, because it would have been so easy to just let things keep going the way they're going All right, now right now what people think of him is at a pretty low ebb because of this decision. Let's see what happens in the long run. Let history be the judge. And as a leader, you have to have that foresight to say, long term, we will be better off, because my job is to protect all of us, and not just on an immediate basis, but on a long-term basis. Once again, leadership is an art and a science. So you don't know 100% of the time. Some decisions are going to be good, some aren't. This is what we have, but the process used was correct. As always, in leadership or anything else, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.